Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. In today's review we're going to be taking a look at Blacksad Under the Skin. This is developed by Pendulum Studios and published by Microids, so a massive thanks to them for the early review copy and making this video possible. So this game is based on the comics by the Spanish author Juan Diaz-Canales. The comics are obviously also called Blacksad. Now, though the game does not make it canon with the comics, it does have the approval from the writer himself. So expect to see a lot of the characters and areas if you have read the comics. Personally, I want to point out that I have never read the comics. I do loosely kind of know what they're about. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So in Blacksad, you take on the role of a inspector or a detective in New York in the 50s. This is an era where it's dominated by gangs, criminals and whatnot, so the story is quite a dark story. Now gameplay wise, as you probably expect in this type of game, is very story focused. The gameplay is very slow paced. To be honest, most of the time the gameplay is literally walking backwards and forwards, inspecting the environment and asking the different characters if they learn anything, or asking them maybe about something you found in the environment. And then once you've got enough clues, you will be able to do a deduction. And this is kind of what brings me to my first negative point. So you spend your time just slowly walking around, picking up stuff, and the game gives you a lot of time to kind of think for yourself and maybe come up with a deduction yourself. What kind of annoys me is that once you have got enough clues to make a deduction in the game actually tells you, and you know, you still have to kind of put clue 1 with clue 2, but once you know that you've got the possibility to join 2 clues together, there's not really much thinking to do, since you know that one of the clues is the one that you just picked up before the notification popped up telling you that you can make a new deduction. And it would have been a lot better in my opinion if it didn't tell you and you kind of had to go into the deduction menu, which you can anyway, even if you can't make a deduction. It would have been better if it would have just left it to you to find out whether or not you can join 2 clues together to make a deduction. Because like I said, apart from that, it's literally just walking around looking for clues and talking to characters or inspecting these characters to see what they've got to say. And out of all those things gameplay wise, I think the only thing that requires a bit of skill is that sometimes you need a bit of a good eye to see some of the clues around the environment, because the rest of the gameplay is literally a few quick time events, which by the way are quite unforgiving. Sometimes if you miss one quick time event, you'll die straight away. Obviously the checkpoint isn't that bad, you'll literally start just before the quick time event. But as far as gameplay wise goes, that's literally about it. You also kind of get these cat sensors that will allow you to kind of go into this black and white slow-mo scene around some of the characters where you can inspect them. But apart from that, that's literally all the gameplay boils down to. So like I said before, it's a real shame that the game doesn't let you do the deducting yourself and at least make you think a little bit. Because to be honest, the game just feels like you walk around, getting a clue, taking this clue somewhere, joining up with another clue, and most of the time it just feels like the game is hand holding you and it's just like, press this button here, now walk here, now press this button. However, with that said, as I mentioned before, this game is very story heavy, so gameplay may not even be the most important thing. The characters are incredibly well done, and that's a great thing since you will be talking to them over and over again as the game goes on. And the other cool thing about this game is the decision making. So you can actually change your relationship with most of the characters in quite meaningful ways depending on your action in this game. Very early on in the game, I kind of lied for somebody and kept his secret, and then in the next part of the game he actually saved me. So it's kind of cool to see it. It actually makes you feel like your decisions in this game actually mean something and that they are not forgotten as soon as you walk away from the conversation with that character. Apart from that, all these decisions will affect your own personality, not really in a gameplay mechanic wise or how you communicate, but you will be able to check it in the menus, and I think that's pretty cool. Now, before I mention the next part, this is a quite early copy. The game's not releasing until about another week yet, so I'm sure a lot of these minor bugs will be fixed, and they have mentioned that there will be a day 1 patch. But there are quite a lot of animation bugs in this build, at least. Sometimes just the way the characters' faces worked when they was talking, or just the way the animations moved. Sometimes they would sit on a chair that doesn't really exist. Sometimes their heads will move uncontrollably without making any sense at all. And to be honest, this did break the immersion a little bit, but like I said, hopefully most of this will be fixed by launch. And even if it isn't fixed by launch, it does seem like something that will be easily fixed in upcoming patches. And really, apart from that, I can't really find any flaws. I really did get into the story and was intrigued in what's going to happen next. Now, however, even if this game doesn't have that many flaws and it is a great kind of slow-paced detective story heavy game, it is absolutely amazing in doing what it's set out to do. This is definitely a game that is targeted at a certain audience. If you're the type of guy that likes action games, fast-paced, or just a lot of gameplay in general, this is definitely not a game for you. But if you're somebody that just wants to chill for a really cool story and just take it at a slow pace, maybe think a little bit and take decisions to affect the story, then if you're liking that type of game, then you should absolutely definitely pick this game up. So from me, it's going to be an 8 out of 10. I do hope they fix the animation bugs before it comes out, or at least on release. And yeah guys, if this review is helpful, please go like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.